No Christmas hat this time. Pain. What is going on, guys? Nord97 here, back again with another video, and today we are continuing our 2020 offseason review series, and we're moving on to now the Buffalo Sabres. So the Sabres are a team that really hasn't sustained success in the 2010s decade. They made the playoffs in 2011 and haven't been back since. That is 9 total seasons without playoffs. And today, they've teared through coaches, they've teared through GMs, they've teared through good, bad, average players like they were nothing. And, this team with Kevin Adams as the new GM after Jason Botterill being fired about a few months ago, I am questioning what direction this team is going to, and I think it's going towards a bright future. I hope it's going towards a bright future. Because in all honesty, it's a do or die season. And by do or die, I mean they need to make the playoffs. I don't care if they get swept in round one. I don't care if they make it to the finals. I don't care if they win the whole dang Stanley Cup, which probably won't happen. I think Sabres fans are definitely doubting that. But they need to make the playoffs. Now, before we go in here and review their 2020 offseason recap and talk about what's next for them in 2021, if you haven't already, please do go make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm really been trying to pop off on making all these videos. This is a lot. I've made a ton of pre-recorded videos for the channel in the next coming few weeks. So it would mean a heck of a lot if you went to go subscribe. Just trying to get by, trying to make some videos for you guys, get the hockey content out there, and grow the community more. And maybe, hopefully, someday in the future, a 13-year-old dreamer myself, maybe I can make money off of this. And, one sub is one step closer to making that happen. Also, if you haven't already, do make sure, please go check the links in the description below. That has all my other social medias. It includes Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, I do TikTok. I say that in every video. And also the Discord. So, if you want to go talk to me or other Discord or other fans, you can go do that as well. But anyways, let's get into the 2020 offseason recap of the Buffalo Sabres. So I've separated this into 3 different columns. One of the columns is the offensive acquisitions that they acquired during the 2020 offseason for them. So since from March 12th to November 30th, at the time of recording this video. If something happens between then and now, not my fault. I also have the defensive acquisitions, who they acquired defensively. This includes defensemen and goaltenders. And then I have a third thing here that I really haven't explored much. I've never done this kind of thing before, and I thought we would start it now. The projected lineup, and this is gonna be interesting because there's a lot of players that could potentially crack in to these lineups for the Sabres. Someone gets injured. There's these other odds in here. I have all these guys included in. I have the first 4 lines. I have 4 lines, 3 defensive pairings, and the starter, backup, and third goaltender. So it's gonna be very interesting. But first off, let's get into the offensive acquisitions that the Sabres got in the 2020 offseason. So the first big Buffalo Sabres acquisition that they got in the offensive side of their 2020 offseason was Taylor Hall, and this is the huge highlight. I don't think any of the other guys that they got in this free agency or via trade meets up to what they got in Taylor Hall. So Taylor Hall is 29 years old, left wing. He was signed to a $8 million contract, which is worth a year for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw the years on this signing, I kind of scratched my head. I was like, wait, why is he getting a 1-year contract but getting paid $8 million? You're basically saying that the Sabres need to... Well, maybe Taylor Hall will do well in Buffalo, and maybe he'll re-sign a contract. I'm not saying that's out of the picture entirely. But, this is stuff in 2021, so it doesn't really matter right now. But they're basically saying, oh, Taylor Hall, this is our 1 year to win the Stanley Cup with Taylor Hall. It kind of doesn't make sense, to be honest. But, maybe they're just signing this guy as like maybe a bridge deal, and then maybe sign him to a longer term contract. Because after all, he is almost 30 years old. So if they sign him to a contract for the rest of his career, that honestly wouldn't surprise me. But anyways, outside of the the contract and everything, Taylor Hall is a very good acquisition for the Buffalo Sabres. He brings that offense. He brings a lot of that. He brings a lot of the things that the Sabres definitely need. And, you already have Jack Eichel. You already have guys like Victor Olofsson. You have guys like Sam Reinhart. You have new acquisitions like Cody Eakin and Eric Stahl, who we'll get into in a second here. I think that this team could put up the offense that they were missing in the last few years that this team has been playing. I think that this will be very interesting. Taylor Hall, maybe he could play on that first line spot. We're not exactly sure where he will place. I'm predicting first line, probably with Jack Eichel and maybe Victor Olofsson. I'm not exactly sure when it comes to that front, but that's saved for the projected lineup. Anyways, let's get into the other guys they acquired offensively. Now, the other guys that the Buffalo Sabres acquired in this, we're going to start off with Eric Staal here. So Eric Staal was acquired in a trade between the Minnesota Wild and the Buffalo Sabres, where the Sabres sent Marcus Johansson, or Johansson, however you want to pronounce it, to the Minnesota Wild in favor of Eric Staal. Eric Staal, this shocked a lot of people. They were like, wait a second, what? And to be honest, it was a good deal. Eric Staal will really help on that center core for the Sabres, bring that veteran presence into that team, which comes important in some ways. He's going to really help out the young guys on this team. And in that third line, he's also going to be playing with maybe someone like Cody Eakin, who they also signed to a 2-year, $2 million contract. It's a good signing. He can put up the offense, the good amount of offense that the Buffalo Sabres definitely need. And, the Sabres didn't sign him. They also drafted Jack Quinn, 8th overall in the NHL 2020 draft. I thought I'd throw that in here as well. He's not going to step in until 2021-22, but he can still fit into that. He can still fit into that lineup, likely in the coming years. So you also get Jack Quinn. I don't think he has a contract yet. He might, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, that's it for the offensive acquisitions. Let's get into the interesting defensive acquisitions that the Sabres acquired. So the defensive acquisitions that the Buffalo Sabres acquired in their 2020 offseason, this includes defensemen, so right D and left D. I mean, that doesn't really matter, but anyways. And also goaltenders. They really didn't get much on the defensive front because I think their defense is good. You have Dahlin, Ristolainen, Montour's not bad. He has been on the trade block for a bit. And then there's McCabe too. And then you got the guys on the bottom front. The one defenseman that they did acquire was Matt Irwin. Now, Matt Irwin, coming from the Nashville Predators, he's going to be a good guy. He's going to help. He's going to probably play on the third line. Third defensive pairing, not third line. For the Buffalo Sabres, I would expect him to play with Miller, potentially, and then, maybe scratch up to the top 4, potentially, and maybe become a scratch at some points, because they do have a few defensive guys who could really crack into that bottom defensive pairing. So, it's really just a battleground when it comes to that bottom. And then they also acquired Dustin Tokarski. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name there, for that former Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender. This signing kind of questioned. I was like, wait, what? Until I looked at the statistics for Tokarski. Tokarski in the minor leagues for the Pittsburgh Penguins, so the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins, was a very good goaltender. And, I think he's going to really help out in that third goaltending wise, and he may even crack into the backup role, potentially. We're going to see how he does in the AHL. They'll definitely give Tokarski a lot of opportunities to play on the NHL front. So, I think that's a definite thing you want to look at. That's it for the defensive acquisitions. As I said, it's a really small margin there. Let's get into the final column, the projected lineup, and we'll discuss everything that I have in this projected lineup here. So in this projected lineup here, I'm going to flash it on screen so you don't hear my annoying voice speak the whole time. I am going to be speaking, but I'm going to read off the lineups here, and it's going to pop up on screen for you. So in the offensive side of things, on the first line, I have Taylor Hall, Jack Eichel, Victor Olofsson. Second line, I have Sam Reinhart, Eric Staal, and Jeff Skinner. Third line, I have Kyle Okposo, Dylan Cousins, but he could crack into that second line as well, and Zegmas Girgensons. Then I have Curtis Lazar, Cody Eakin, and Tage Thompson for my offensive side of things. I'll get into that in a second here. In my defensive pairings here, I have Dahlin and Ristolainen on the first defensive pairing. I have Brandon Montour and Jake McCabe on that second pairing. And then I have Miller and Matt Irwin on that third defensive pairing. And then I also, on the goaltender front, everyone expected this, I have Linus Ullmark and Carter Hutton, along with Dustin Tokarski as that third goaltender. The goaltending thing down there won't change, so we won't really bother with that. The reason why I put everyone where they are in the defensive front is because I think this defensive front was pretty shut down last season. Yes, they did let in a lot of goals, but that was because they don't exactly have the best goaltenders in the world. And you know, when I think of goaltenders, I don't necessarily think of Buffalo's goaltender first. In fact, I would probably put him down at around the bottom of if I did like a rankings for the defense for goaltending tandems, because Buffalo's goaltending isn't the best. I think mainly the first pairing of the Sabres is going to be really what shuts down this offense. I think the second pair will do half that, and then the third pair is just there. So, well, not necessarily there. I think he'll do a decent good amount. So, Dahlin, Ristolainen, I think they've been really good defenders. Ristolainen will be in trade rumors for the next 25 years for the Sabres, but I don't think he will leave. I doubt it. It's highly unlikely that he'll leave. So, don't expect Ristolainen to be gone in a trade at least anytime soon. He's playing really well with Dahlin on that first line defensive pairing. Now, offensive side here, first line, Hall, Eichel, Olofsson. No surprise there. Sam Reinhart may crack into the first line, but I highly doubt it. I think that's an Olofsson, Hall, Eichel line to stay. Second line, Skinner, Stahl, and Reinhart. Again, I did mention that Dylan Cousins could potentially crack into that second line. Skinner on high contract, needs a bounce back season. Stahl, very good, solid second, third line center. Sam Reinhart, again, could crack into that first line there. I highly doubt it, but he's still a very solid offensive player. Third line, Okposo, Cousins, and Gergesons. Again, Stahl could go down to the third line as well. Really, everyone expected that there. And fourth line, Lazar, Eakin, and Thompson. That's really as well expected there too. I definitely expected Cody Eakin to be on that fourth line there. And, the center core for Buffalo isn't that bad. I think that's probably the best thing on the Sabres team right now, besides the defense. So, they have a lot of weaknesses. They have a lot of interesting things going on with them. If I were to pick that they were going to the playoffs or not, to be honest, it's kind of too early. We need to find out what the heck's going on with this season. I'm telling you, I've heard the potential division realignments, and Buffalo would be with Boston, with Philadelphia, with a lot of dangerous metropolitan teams with very young goaltenders. If I put them in that division, the Sabres likely won't make the playoffs. But we don't know exactly what the divisions are going to be. We have rumors and speculations. Canadian division is more than likely, so Buffalo will be playing the same opponents. It's very interesting when it comes to that kind of stuff, and we're gonna make definitely videos on what the heck's going on with the NHL, because there's a lot of stuff going on with the NHL right now. Well, it's really quiet, but there's a lot of rumors going on with the NHL. So, with that lineup, let me know if there's any changes you would make or any guys that would really crack in. Sabres fans, let me know your thoughts and comments below. If you enjoyed the video, do please make sure to go leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Again, trying to make it to 600 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm probably not going to make it. I need to get 40 in a month during the off season. I highly doubt we're going to make it to that. We're going to make it to that accomplishment. But we've made it to a lot of other accomplishments. We made it to We made it to 200 subscribers before June 1st, which was when I wanted to get to 100 subscribers. So honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we make it there. But I'm not disappointed if we didn't. So, anyways, thank y'all for watching. Do make sure to check the links in the description below, as I said earlier. And, I will see you guys in the next video.